Ooh, all right. Take that. All right, all right, all right, all right. Hey, you all, man, thank you for your patience. We were having some technical difficulties, believe it or not. I'm not going to blame Facebook, but I will say that I could not sign on. I couldn't start my live, so I don't know what's going on, uh, but we up and running. Thank you. And tonight, man, we're going to make this really, really, really easy and simple. I have the guest for those who can make it, because everyone, they had a little bit different schedules, and some are traveling. But we want to bring all three of our guests back on for the night, or from the past 3 days. Have them come on and just a quick recap. So it's something that'll happen a little bit later on. But we do want to cover everything that we have gone over. Hey, Anthem, how's my beautiful cousin? Looking forward to seeing you soon. Brother Malik, absolutely looking forward to talking to you soon. I hope you got my message today, and we can talk about that a little bit later. Thank you all for tuning on. I see my beautiful wife is on as well. Brother Rich, how you feeling, brother? Good to see you on. My OG gangster cousin Quincy. Hey, love you, man. I miss you. I hope to see you real soon too. It's been too long, so I look forward to seeing you again soon. Sister Monica, Brother Daryl, two believers out of Chicago. My family and I are forever indebted to you. We were going through some things, and that family really, really looked out for us. They didn't do nothing but share brotherhood and sisterhood with us. Love you all for that. Who else I got? Brother Kamal, thank you for watching. I saw you on the other day too, brother. So I didn't mean to not acknowledge you, but thank you. Thank you for watching. And you all, please share, because the information, that's really what we're doing this for. Brother Daryl, one of our graphic geniuses. And Brother Daryl, we have to talk, brother. You know what, man? I'm glad to see you on. And the reason I say that is because there's a history, brother, of, for those who don't know, brother, there's a history of graffiti and hip hop. And brother, I don't know if it's okay to call you an expert in it or not, Brother Daryl, but he certainly has a history, specifically out of the Chicago area in the Midwest. But I think it's important to show the role that graffiti and hip hop played in the development of most of us in our generation. And even some of it boosted some of us to attend some of the HBCUs like we have, and raise our children with a certain type of understanding of the world. So, but Brother Daryl, let's stay in touch, brother. I think that would be beautiful to have you on. Some good news. Hey, Coleon, good to see you. Give Scooby my love. Brother David Hassan, brother, good to see you as well. I saw you watching the other day. Thank you, Brother Jerome, you as well. Please share, so that we can continue to get this out, because it's really the information that's important. Anybody can do this. Anybody can do this, not me. I'm not the author of any of this. Anybody can do it, but it was just on my heart, very important to share the information. In all of, doesn't matter how right you are or how wrong I am or vice versa, the information is true and we need it. So that's really what this is all about. But the good news is, this is going to become a regular thing. We do have some media outlets that we are really, really pushing. As a matter of fact, as well, I want you all go to the YouTube page as well. The videos from the last 4 nights are up. and we'll pin that as well. Matter of fact, I'll put that in right now, so you can go to YouTube, and it's the Chef B Moo page. I'll put that in and pin it on YouTube, and I need you to subscribe to that page. And the reason for that is because what we're doing, we want to make it available to everyone. Everybody's not on Facebook. Everybody's not necessarily on social media like this. But what I want you to do is to go on there and I just want to make sure I pin it. I'm sorry. Well, it is pinned. So in any case, go on there, subscribe to the YouTube channel, because there's going to be more information coming, and it won't just be me. There are other people, everybody that'll be coming on that's going to be dealing with this. Everyone, they're not Muslims in the Nation of Islam, because it's not a religious information. It's not religious talk. And this information is good for anybody who wants it. Hey, my big cousin Stella, I love you and miss you. I hope to see you soon. And matter of fact, I think, wow, now that I think about it, I think my big cousin Stella would be, if you would agree to it, we can talk soon to also have you on as well, because we're dealing with information specifically out of the medical field and things that are happening. And I know you got some information to share. I know there's some things that you know that just the average person has no clue about when it comes to the medical field, especially with your background. So I hope to talk to you all and get you all on soon. Again, go to the YouTube channel as well and subscribe. The first 4 videos from this 5-part series, they're up already. Go on, like them, share them, and we want to build it up. It's not for any type of personal praise or anything. It's simply for the information. And so I've been building a list of those who I want to have come on, and it's really going to be exciting. So I did invite our 3 guests back. Some of them will be able to come on. Everyone can't, and it's okay. But what we're dealing with is just sharing the information, and that's the most important thing. I gotta go back to what we're dealing with. This is hands off friends, family, and Farrakhan. And what that means, the whole point of that, the way I came up with the concept was just sitting there watching him be attacked and lied on. And so I felt compelled, to speak up and defend him, because in all of my dealings with him, all of my teaching and my own personal interaction with him, none of that, what I've been hearing, reflected him. And so I will continue to repeat the representative who was sent to the Nick Cannon show to discuss Nick Cannon's accusations of being anti-Semitic. Rabbi Abraham Cooper of the Simon Wiesenthal Center. His exact words were, he's one of the most honest people in America. And he was talking about the Honorable Louis Farrakhan. That being said, from someone who claims to be in opposition to him or does not agree with statements he said, then what that says to me is that you're admitting to that you being a liar. If he's one of the most honest people in America, and he is, and you are in disagreement with a statement that he's making, and he's saying that this statement is truth, then I have to look at you as a liar. And so it's just as simple as that. And I think all of us should understand that we don't need to be all wrapped up into high sciences and so much collegiate education to understand, to listen to somebody speaking to hear what they say. That was definitely clear as day to me. So if somebody ever says to you that Chef Brent, he's one of the most honest people in America that I've ever met, that I've ever heard speak, and then the next breath they say, well, he lied about that recipe, then you should have enough human sense to sit back and say, hold on, wait a minute. So is he telling the truth or is he a liar? Which one is it? If he's one of the most honest people, then how do I know that you're not lying? Because he never professed to him or any leadership in the Ashkenazi Jewish community as being one of the most honest people anywhere. He never said that. And not in that interview, let me say that. So, and this is not an attack on him at all, believe that, man. I don't know Rabbi Abraham Cooper. I don't know, I didn't even know he existed until I watched the interview. but I just listened to what he said. And so I encourage every single one of us to go back and listen. There were some things that I heard. And one of my first take on him watching the interview was, I did not like his disposition. I didn't like the way he was sitting, his body language. And it was offensive to me because it was pretty arrogant to me. Sister Elaine, Brother Robert, thank you all for watching. But it was very arrogant to me. Brother Robert as well. Oh, I'm glad to see you on. Brother Robert's another a brother that I do want to get on. His daughter is one of the most phenomenal lyricists today. And I'm talking about, I'm not a music genius, but I do have an ear and I do understand talent and I can write myself. But I can tell you that when I heard this little sister and her rapping, hands down, bar none, you go get some of the best, what you call female MCs that are out there, she's smashing some brothers that's out there. I'm just telling you, that's just what it is. So when you get Brother Robert, please post some of her YouTube videos as well on here because I want you all to go check it out. Brother Dexter, wow, my brother. Graham fam, love you, brother. Good to see you on. But so where we're at with this is, it's really just for us to wake up, man, and to understand that don't be so quick to listen to the media and the news and things that are coming out. Now, it's one thing to say, you know, you can look and say, well, you know, I hear Minister Farrakhan, I'm not in agreement with everything he said, because I've heard that. What kind of makes me, you know, look at you a little sideways is, what made you compelled to say that? Like, what made you compelled to say that I'm not in agreement, you know, I don't get that. Like, why does that have to be said? Why do you have to distinguish yourself as one who is not in 100% agreement with him? I think just being as a human being and coming from a different school of thought, that's an automatic understanding. I won't say as a student of his that I'm not in 100% agreement with anything he said. I haven't heard everything he said, but what I will say is everything I have heard him say, I'm in 100% agreement with. And so I say that as a student, and I think any one of us who are students would say that. I gotta go back again and shout out Nick Cannon. Y'all, man, anybody know Nick Cannon, let him know Chef Brandon to shout him out, and got nothing but love for him. Because I really appreciated him not taking the role of other blacks who found themselves in leadership and have the ear of the public. He did not denounce his brother Farrakhan. He did not speak ill of him. Even when he was being pushed to, he did not do it. And so I got to acknowledge him for that. I don't have to acknowledge those who denounced him and said that, you know, well, I'm not in agreement with everything he said. I don't remember him saying that. But I do know that he did not let this man push him into a corner. As a matter of fact, he stood up and he said that about his brother Farrakhan, that no, he is leadership in our community. And as a young man, he's looking at him. Hey, Brother James, I see you on. Thank you for watching and sharing too. I've been getting your comments. But what he did say was that as a young man, he watched him. This man is called 1 million men to Washington, D.C., and nearly 2 million showed up. To where anywhere else you cannot get I mean, it's like, come on, you don't even have to try to get 1 million black men. Let me see you take an open jar of honey outside in the summertime and see if you can get 1 million ants and flies. I mean, it's like, come on, let's just be real about it. And so with that understanding, Brother Ronald, thank you for coming on too. I appreciate you. And I appreciate your patronages too, brother. And your patience with your brother. So thank you very much. And I will be in touch with you. But again, I applaud Brother Nick Cannon for that. And so we're going to talk some more about it as well. When later on in the show, Sister Maria may not be able to come back on because she did tell me that she did have some other things that were taking place. And so I won't press her for it, but I will say this, that we will be back on, and I will have her back on because I got a lot of feedback from sisters, man, that really appreciated her conversation And, you know, it's strong. You know, when you're in a situation and you have to look at women in general, just in the world, you know, this is a misogynistic world. And when you have another woman that stands up and speaks strong and firm and resolve in the truth that she speaks, it makes you feel good when you feel bad about the mistreatment of women all over the world. And so we got very good feedback from that. Our brother Clarence from Selma, Alabama will be joining us again tonight. And we are trying to get Dr. Keeley back on as well. There's some others who may come on, and because they did not confirm, and I wanted to leave it like that, just kind of let people come in and give their feedback from the show. As a matter of fact, you know what? You know how they say in the church, the Spirit is leading me? Well, the Spirit is leading me. All right, I'm going to say this. Anyone who watched any of our 4 episodes from the last 4 of this 5-part series, if you'd like to come on, send me a request, and we can bring you on live. But I gotta say this: no foul language, no profanity, and let's do our best to be respectful in with everyone's position and point of view. But I think that would be a good idea tonight. And you all give me your feedback, and we can also chop this up as well about the about that interview and the claims of bigotry, racist, anti-Semitism. What else are they got out there? Anti-gay, anti-lesbian. All of these claims that are being put on the Honorable Louis Farrakhan and the friends and family that we have who are in support of him. And so when you look at the list, well, like salam, Brother Mark, it's good to see you, my brother. But when you look at the list of people who they have, Madonna, Chelsea Handler, the Diddy, Ice Cube, I mean, the list goes on. And when you look at this list that the ADL has asserted and said all of these people have been accused of anti-Semitism, you know, when you look at it, Marcus Garvey, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, Noble Drew Ali, you know, I look at that, I'm like, hell, that's a list I want to be on there, because I know good and well that these are freedom fighters. And see, and that's the other thing that we have to look at. When somebody else is telling your story, you know, when a war is fought, who won? How do you know who won? Depends on who's telling the story. You know, if you ask any of the Vietnam veterans who were in the Vietnam War, who won? Depending on who's telling that story. You know, many of the Vietnamese, and I did meet, this was years ago, man. I met a Vietnamese brother who had converted to Islam later on in his life. But he told me, he said that the Vietnam War, he said, no, he said, brother, in Vietnam, he said, we winners. And I said, wow, you know, I said, because you have Americans who'll say, no, America won that. So it was just another lesson for me. So when it comes to talking about our leadership, as black people, we have to first stop allowing people to define who our leadership is. That's been done already, man. That's plantation activity. And if you're still a part of that, if you're still with that, you know, man, all I can say is you either get off the plantation or stay on. You know, I'm the type of person that, you know, they said there was this talk that, hey, Sister Terry, how you doing, Grand Fam? Good to see you on. But there was this talk about you a field nigga or a house nigga, excuse the expression. I talk like that. Those that know me know I talk like that. But if, you know, it's like you have to pick the mentality. So if we all slaves on the plantation, are you one that never want to leave, or if you one that will put your life on the line to get off? You know, and I'm one of those that I got the spirit right now, like, no, I'm not staying, you know. And Brother T, how you feeling, brother? I don't have any problem with putting my life on the line to free my family and my people from slavery. Like, I can't even comprehend the idea of allowing someone to continue to oppress us. Now, there's an activity that's involved, you know, all over the world, and it's called white supremacy. I know some black white supremacists, and they fight, you know, you got Uncle Ruckuses everywhere. Some of us got Uncle Ruckuses in our families. and some of us live next door to Uncle Ruckus's, and so you might debate them or you might not. But the point is that it exists, the mentality exists, and we can no longer allow our oppressor or those who are in control of the activity that we are submitting to live, to dictate to us and determine who's a good leader for us and who isn't. Brother Terry can, coming out of Los Angeles, brother can bear me witness. We grew up in a time in the 80s and the early 90s, man, where, it was really a real thing to where you had to determine what you were going to put on when you left the house, the clothes that you're wearing, and it could determine if you lived that day or not. Riding the bus or walking or getting a ride or riding a bike, all of that could determine if you made it home that night or if you even made it to school. And so, there was no way that someone, if you were from one neighborhood and somebody else was from a rival neighborhood, could come to you and tell you that somebody in your neighborhood was not a good leader for you. That's unheard of, because in your mind, you at war with these people. The problem is that these people, the Rabbi Coopers, and they come to those of us who don't know that we are really at war with these people. And it is the truth. Now, how do you know? There are different types of wars. Brother Amzai, good to see you. Brother Malik, thank you, brother. You're absolutely right. Some of us don't realize that they Uncle Ruckuses. But how do you approach them? How do you get them to understand, your own condition, man? And so that's part of the war that we're fighting. Some of them, you have to fight them because they're working a job. Now, all of us, my grandfamily that's watching, those who've been to college, those who had the understanding that all I got to do is go to college, get a degree, get a good job. I was telling my daughter this not too long ago. I said, hey, I look at my classmates that I graduated with, and I look at some of them and I say, wow, look where we're at in life. And some of them have been all over the world. They've done so many different things. They have these really big homes, these, the material things and experiences that I too want and wanted, but they've had theirs already. They've done theirs. They did theirs in their 20s and their 30s. Some of them are still doing it. Some of them are now retired from their jobs. And so I have to look at that and say, wow, I didn't have those life experiences. I wanted that, but I didn't have it like they had it. So I have to ask myself, what is it, did I do the right things by myself and my family, because I don't yet have those some of the experiences that they have. But I also got other experiences that they dream of. Now, my point is, someone who has traveled all over the world, someone who lives in the neighborhood that they love, the house they love, they're driving what they love, their children are doing well, there's certain things in society that do not come into their home or their family. How do you turn around and tell them that you've been working for the enemy all this time? I know you was working for these large corporations. I know you got a 401k. I know. How do you convince them that this is the enemy feeding you? You have a hard time doing that. And how do you get them to say, listen, I can do this for myself? That's not my fight. But what I do understand is that some of us absolutely refuse to take that understanding. I have some of my friends and family who will argue me down and say, man, I'm not interested in buying no land. I'm not interested in this. I'm not interested in that. I'll just tell you this. My wife and I, 2 weeks ago, we turned down 20 acres of land to purchase. Some of y'all might say, man, you crazy as hell, And some part of me kind of thought I was after the fact. It was like, wow, we were approved for it, everything. And I said, man, but I thought about it. We already have a plan. We wrote our history in advance to what we would like to see for our grandchildren and great-grandchildren and great-great-grandchildren. And it includes much more than 20 acres of land. Some of you may say, well, that's a start. Yeah, it is. But I know it'll come again. And what we have in our mind, what we want to do, what our plan, our history we wrote for ourselves, that land won't do it for us. But I know it'll come again is my point. And it was $135,000. So everybody out there in LA that keep asking me, when you coming back home? I ain't, or like like my homeboy Squiggy used to say at ground, man, I ain't. I ain't coming back to California because I can't get 20 acres of land for $135,000. Now, but point being, there's a certain type of freedom that I just want out of my life. And some people would think I'm crazy for saying, man, I want a ranch. I want to live in an area to where, you know, my neighbor got to call me and say, you know, I want to look so far down my land to where they got to, you know, flash a light at me. Oh, okay, I see you, man. Yeah, y'all good? Yeah, we good. I'm so happy with that. You know, I'm so, because everything that I want out of my life, I want to have at home. I want to have on my land, you know. And this is getting to the mentality that we must have, that we must come out of. We've adapted to an environment that was given to us. Now, you going back to the Bible. Let's just use the Bible. Perfect example. Book of Genesis. God is telling Abraham that your seed will be in a strange land amongst a strange people for 400 years. And after that time, I will come. Well, most black people that I know of, if you say to us, and it's because of our upbringing and our experiences in life, if you say to us, white people kind of strange, most of us will agree that, yeah, that's a great way to put it. And it's not in terms of being racist, it's in terms, we're speaking of a culture. We don't necessarily have the same culture all the way around. And so some things, even where we laugh and joke, and you have comedians that will come and say on both sides, will say, don't put raisins in a potato salad, Karen. You know, it's like, hey, we don't do that, all right? In the bland potato salad. But on the other side of it, I remember a comedian, I forget his name. He said, I can relate to black people too. He said, you grew up in the projects. I grew up in the trailer park. He was like, I totally understand. We look at one of my favorite rappers is Eminem. He's not I don't think he's one of the greatest, but he's one of my favorite rappers. Eminem grew up around a certain type of activity he can relate to. He can relate to poverty. He can relate to being treated a certain way by local law enforcement because of where he lives. He can relate to being treated a certain type of way because of the type of music that he loved. You know, the type of people he wanted to hang around. So I get that. But this is a land that's strange to us, an activity that's strange to us. And I also get it why we don't want to grow food for ourselves anymore. We've become lazy. And so the Honorable Elijah Muhammad gave us a prayer that he said that we should say 7 times a day, at least 7 times a day. Hey, Brother Wilson, how you doing, brother? Brother Wilson Aquino's a DJ. As a matter of fact, put your page up too, Brother Wilson. So when you are back online and you're doing some live DJing, we can chime in. It's a childhood friend of mine. We go all the way back to, was it junior high? I believe so. Good to see you on though, brother. But you too, Sonia, I see you on there. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to not acknowledge you. But lost my train of thought. Acknowledge, it's okay, it's all love. But anyway, growing food. I understand why we don't want to get back out there. But the prayer that he gave us, he said, if you say this at least 7 times a day, then he said it's to help us to stay away from becoming slaves again and falling back into slavery. So it starts out saying, O Allah, or God, I seek thy refuge from anxiety and grief. What are you so anxious about? What are you grieving? This is something that has become the norm, and traditionally in the black community, to where we believe that we're supposed to be anxious and grievous, to the point to where now many of us, a part of our diet for our children in this particular generation are pills for mental health. And they say because they suffer from anxiety. But he said that we are to seek God, refuge in God from anxiety and grief. He said from lack of strength and laziness. Why? Because slavery made us lazy, weak, anxious, and grievous, right? So this was a prayer, part of the prayer he said for us to say at least 7 times a day. Now, if you break that down, if you just say that, well, there's about 24 hours in a day, you break that down. If you want to do it evenly, right? You can say every 3.5 hours you can be saying that prayer. Now, most of us ain't gonna say it every 3.5 hours, but while you up, if you up for for 14 hours in a day, or if you're up for 21 hours a day, you can certainly every 3 hours set your alarm to say that. Why? Because when you working that job and you're making $100,000 a year and life is good and you thinking about the vacation you planning there, you are so far from thinking about, you know what? I just want to own my own land. I want to build my own buildings. You want comfort is what you want. And we do not want to work to grow what it is that we should have on our own. Brother Rob, good to see you as well. Also, and I'm going to restate to everybody who's just been joining on, if you want to chime in, send me a request. We'll bring you on. If you want to discuss some of the things that we talked about, the hands-off friends, family, and Farrakhan, those have been accused of being anti-Semitic for just aligning themselves and agreeing with Brother Farrakhan. Those who are being accused of being bigots, who are being accused of being racist, misogynists, simply for aligning themselves with their brother and saying, I'm not going to allow you to pick my friend for me. I'm not going to allow you to tell me who I can associate and who I can't. It's like, we're not in the 3rd grade. You mad at him don't mean I got to be mad at him too. So that is our discussion. We're wrapping up these 5 days. And for those of us who are breaking our fast today, I haven't broken my fast yet, but I will. I feel good. My daughter Mecca and I was talking earlier about fasting. One of the things we love about fasting is at the end, when we get ready to break our fast, it's like, we feel a little guilty, like, man, I could have went another day. We could have went another day. Brother Rob, you know exactly what I'm talking about. I believe you're on day 22 of a fast, Brother Rob. Let us know, chime in and comment and let me know. But we understand that, you could go longer and you feel good about the strength, but use that strength. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad said that the desire to eat is one of the strongest natural desires that the human being has. A baby comes out of the womb and you don't have to ask the baby, you ready to eat yet? You hungry? They still in the labor room. And you put them right on their mother's breast and they start eating right away. You don't even have to tell them to do that, but they will let you know if you don't feed them that they're ready to eat. So imagine if you take control of that natural desire, your strongest natural desire, and by doing so, what you're doing by that is you're able to control the other desires that you have that aren't as strong as a natural desire. So we're fasting, and it feels real good. But I'm going to break my fast today, and I got my menu together. I'm not going to talk about it because every time I start talking about food, somebody asks me, give me the recipe, cook it for me, go on live. We are going to be doing that, though, soon. But I do re-encourage you to go back, get this book, How to Eat to Live, store.finalcall.com, store.finalcall.com. There's books 1 and 2 on How to Eat to Live. Go get them both. We're also covering The Secret Relationship Between Blacks and Jews. There are 3 of these, all right? There are 3 of these books, volumes 1, 2, and 3, The Secret Relationship Between Blacks and Jews. It will make you begin to understand why many of us find it really absurd that, and even to the point to where we laugh, it's funny to us now, that anyone can call Brother Farrakhan or members of the Nation of Islam or anybody who's quoting this information an anti-Semitic. The fact that they could call Brother Nick Cannon anti-Semitic. When you read this, these are different accounts of Jewish history to where you will show that they own plantations and that they provided money to slave owners to build their plantations. They provided money to slave owners to buy more slaves. They loaned money to the slave owners to buy land and equipment to continue on with slavery right here in America. And some of them themselves owned slaves. This is their documentation. These are their writings. And the only thing that the research department did was quote them. We did not do anything else. Thank you, Sonia. They didn't do anything else. They just quoted them. So we find it really absurd when you say information in this book to be taken out and say that's anti-Semitic when if if reading directly from the writings of Jewish scholars and rabbis is anti-Semitic, well, then you would have to accuse them of being anti-Semitic. But even in that, we've already dealt with what anti-Semitic is. Well, excellence, it's Kiyama, good to see you. How those bean pies doing? Hopefully they're doing well. Brother Tariq, I see you as well. Christy, I see you as well. Leslie, good to see you as well. Another childhood friend. Les, good to see you. I hope you and the family are doing well. Now, what we want to bring into play and discuss before the guests come back on is that there's a stance that every single one of us is going to have to take. All right, every single one of us, and so. You might say, you be on your job, and believe me, it's going to happen. It's what we call the Farrakhan litmus test. If it hasn't happened on your job already, you don't have to be Muslim at all, especially after that July 4th lecture. Some of you, the conversation at work, around the water cooler, in the office, or wherever you work, like, man, did you hear that? See, I don't believe, and they won't mention his name. They'll just say, I don't believe that, Jewish people, are like, I think that's just anti-Semitic. And they just want to know, they're trying to bait you and fish you into a conversation to see if you're in agreement with it or not, only to go back and tell somebody else at work. All right. And this happens regularly. And I don't allow anyone to bait me into the conversation, but I don't have a problem leaving them with the teachings of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. What I say to them is that when it happens to me, and my response is, it's been said that Jewish people own a lot of land and businesses and, kind of control the media and things like that. Man, that's what I want to do. And I'll leave it at that. Because if there is truth in those statements, and it is, then we should study that. Brother Farrakhan has said over and over and over again that he admires the Jewish community for their unity and how they work together. We should do the same thing. Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad told us to study the ant. You see, I'm sorry, checking to see if my brother's ready to come on. But he said, study the ant. And in studying the ant, one thing you'll see, and I learned this some time ago, pardon me, you all. I learned this some time ago that the ant colony, the ones that's working, right, doing all of the major work, were the female ants. And I thought that was so interesting. And I said, wow, they're doing the work for a number of reasons. We say this as adults, we look and say, oh, girls mature faster than boys. Even you can go as far as just being a parent and want to potty train. You say, man, the girls, yeah, they get potty trained first. There is a... Can you all hear me now? Is it back? But there is just an understanding about the nature of the female. Brother Farrakhan has told the brothers over and over and over and over and over again for years, time and time again, brother, if you have a good idea, put it in a woman. There is a reason for that. She is naturally the birthing chamber of whatever exists. Put it in her and stay your butt out the way. It is, you have to be a fool to say, well, come help me with this, and really all you want to do is just tell her what to do. She has a nature that is telling her what to do already. She got a nature that will even tell her, let me sit there and let this fool talk to me like this, because as soon as he walk away, I'm going to do what needs to be done anyway, and I'm going to trick him into thinking, oh, he is the... because she's going to help you manifest what is in your mind already. Give it to her and leave her alone, man. If you want to be successful, the Prophet Muhammad said that marriage is one half of faith. So all you half Muslims out there, no, I'm teasing you. But I am saying it seriously, man, get yourself whole again. And this is, I'm certainly no marriage expert. And y'all know my personal life, good and well I ain't. But I will say this, just based off of our understanding of Scripture, that do not well, the scripture says that, or Genesis says that we made man in our image and after our likeness. Um, and sister, if you want a man who was already put together and he already got his stuff in order, and you ain't got to help him do nothing, um, somebody did. So either you want to come in and pick up the work, you want somebody else to do the work, and you just want to reap the benefits, or you want to do the work that you can claim proper benefit to. I'm sorry, we're trying to get Brother Clarence on. All right, that's done, Brother Clarence. You on there, my brother. So, Brother Clarence also, he's in the student ministry down in Selma, Alabama. Now, I know most of us, when we hear about Selma, Alabama, we think about Dr. King. We think about the crossing the bridge, the walk, the strikes. And it's such a powerful energy that's down there in Selma. And brother was, I believe, you have to correct me, for some reason, Brother Clarence, it's not, it's showing that you're declining the invitation. But brother was going back and forth from Birmingham. Alabama is also something that you all will be surprised at the mind of black people in Alabama, and also that land, that soil out there, just beautiful. But there's a spirit that's there, and that spirit is so strong. I mean, when you think about the people who have been there all them years, you got to go back and get some of that. I highly recommend you find the elders in your family, sit down and hear them stories. You'd be surprised at some of the stuff they tell you, things that you never existed. Hey, Andrea, how you doing? Another one of my grandfam big sisters out of the world fame. But any questions you all have, please go ahead and drop them in the comments. Anybody that wants to come on, send a request. For some of you, I'm just going to send you an invitation and request that you come on anyway. But just for us to have the discussion. I see your message, Brother Clarence. And maybe that's something we can do as well. But let's get into one final piece that I wanted to touch on from that interview that took place. The conversation of when Nick Cannon began, I guess he was kind of showing that he had learned some things in the Hebrew language, and he was speaking to the rabbi, and the rabbi applauded him for it. What happened in a separate interview with someone else, Rabbi Cooper continued to applaud him for that. And it was almost to say, like, yeah, see, he's learning Hebrew, so everything, everything is good. I'm not sure if you all can hear me. Brother Clarence, we'll get you in a minute. Hey, Sister Miriam, good to see you. And Sister Tequila, good to see you as well. But fasting, don't forget. Oh, Sister Tequila, please put in the website, the link for the fasting challenge that's coming up, the 30-day fast. I want everybody to join that as well, the 30-day fasting challenge. Because the sister keeps the challenges coming up. I'm going to continue to push fasting because it means so much to us in terms of our health and well-being. And I'm going to read again for you what the Honorable Elijah Muhammad said out of How to Eat to Live. But anyway, what I noticed in that, and you all tell me what you think about it. Rabbi Cooper, he applauded Nick Cannon, almost to say, like, yeah, you're better if you speak Hebrew. Now, it doesn't mean you're not. I think it's a very good idea to learn the language. Well, it is a Semitic language, and it is not an unnatural language to black people in the world, period. What many of us may not know is that we do have brothers and sisters who are blacks from America who live in Israel and have been there for 40 plus years. and they have their own community in Dimona, Israel. And in their history, they did tell us that it was not always, like we said, it wasn't always gravy, baby. But like that, they had to fight for their own citizenship with the Israeli government, who did not want to give it to them, and eventually gave them some land that was almost barren, land they couldn't farm and work. Now, these were black people in Israel. But I find it very interesting that these group of what we refer to as the Hebrew Israelite community, and I do know some personally, and one brother, he told me, he said, we don't like to be called Jews because that's only one of the tribes. But my point is, the Ashkenazi Jewish community, or the, I guess the white Jew, never brings them forth and say, well, what is it, what do you think about Farrakhan? What is it, why don't you speak up and call him anti-Semitic? And the reason they don't do that is because they are friends and family to the Nation of Islam. Those who are in the Chicago area know this already. And if you've ever visited the Chicago area, there's a restaurant that many of us have been to that is owned by the Hebrew Israelite community, and it has become a staple on 75th Street. And it is a vegan cafe. But these are our friends. These are our family. And there is no, you all can't come in here. You can't do this. You can't do that. We fight back to back. That is our family. We're one community. But they never come forward. So I'm saying all that to say that you got to be very, very careful where you get your information from. The Holy Quran says that when a member of an opposition, or someone who is opposed to the way of life that you desire, brings you information about someone else in your community, then you have to look carefully into it. Because if you don't, then you could be charged with hurting someone or killing someone in your community unjustly. You could be charged with hurting their name and tarnishing their name unjustly if you don't look carefully into it. Jesus took it a step further, to where there were suggestions to him that Satan says, hey, look, man, I'll make you famous all over the world. I'll give you everything. Look down there. Everything you see, man, I can give you that. I can make that happen for you. Jesus said, get thee behind me, Satan. In other words, like, bro, if you don't stop, get out of my face. Stop playing, man. Go away, little boy. It was kind of like that. Well, like, salam, brother, I'll be good to see you. But my point is that there is strength in that when you stand firm and backing your brother when they come, because they are going to come against you. It does not matter what you call yourself. All they're going to want to know is, do you agree with that statement that the Jewish community does this, that the white supremacy is this? Do you, everything that comes out of Brother Farrakhan's mouth and his teacher, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, they're going to question you about your belief in the ideologies of our brother Noble Drew Ali. They're going to question you about, do you believe in the ideologies of our brother, the Honorable Marcus Garvey? They're going to question you about your ideology about, do you agree with Dr. Sebi? See, they've even gone as far as of Islam, and Dr. Sebi was the first one to come out and say, I learned about food from this book. Right here. Right here. So you got to be wise enough to understand that there is no desire of the opposition for us to unite. I'm like, Brother Corn, good to see you. Another one of the top soldiers out of Muhammad Mosque, number 54 in Compton, California. Compton's in the house, right? So, but you have to understand that this is coming down the pipe, right? So get your fasting on, get your mind right, and just be ready to stand firm. What Satan said in the Holy Quran was that when it's time for that judgment, to where you got to answer to whatever that looks like to you for that day, and God says to you, hey, you you did X, Y, and Z. This is in your history right here. And when your response is, well, that was Satan, man, he told me that this was going to happen and he tricked me. The Holy Quran says that Satan is going to say in that time that all I did was invite you. You came on your own. I just requested, like, hey, you want to roll with me? Y'all want to come over here? We doing this. Man, you ain't got to just eat. I got you, brother Clarence. Good to see you. You don't. That saying, you don't. You ain't got to just eat no white beans, man. All of this steak over here, all of this over here. We got this. And when you start dealing with your illnesses and the problems you have from your diet, which will mirror the diet of the slave on the plantation, going to have to answer to that for yourself. And the only thing Satan can say is, man, I called, you came. You didn't have to answer me. You said God was superior to me, then why did you come? See, that's the trick. In the streets, we call that game. Like, man, they ran game on you. He's not gonna stand with you. And so I said this in the other broadcast, and I'll say it again. God has angels, Satan has devils. So when you hear us refer to someone being satanic or devilishment, then you got to understand that we're talking about a mindset and their activity as well. Brother Clarence, how you doing there, brother?
Assalamu alaikum. Can you hear me? I'm having a little problem with this
Sir.
phone, but you can kind of somewhat see me.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. It's okay. I'm glad to have you back on. Dr. Keeley did. I know he's traveling. Let me say that. And also, pardon me one sec. Dr. Keeley's traveling as well. And Sister Mariam did let me know she would not make it back on. But thank you for coming back on.
Yes, sir.
And brother, anything that you want to say, again, to everybody, questions, man, hit us with the questions. It's okay. You can send a request if you want me to add you on as well. We can bring you right onto the live feed. If you don't want to be seen, that's fine. You don't have to have your face on. That's perfectly fine. But if you just want to chime in and ask a question, we'd love to have you on and chop this up in this discussion. But we're talking about hands off of our friends, hands off of our family, hands off of Farrakhan and all those who support him and support righteous doing.
Well,
Also,
I'm wrestling with this phone just a tad bit, so bear with
yes,
me.
sir.
But
No
basically, the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan is the forefront man right now in the war against evil, wickedness. I was reading the scripture Second Thessalonians, when it says that in that day that there would be a great falling away, and then the man of sin would be revealed. And so the minister is that man right now. His job is to reveal him, and that's what he's doing.
Yes, sir. And you're absolutely right. That's the other thing. If we go back and look at even Jesus's activity when he was casting the demons out into the swine, right? And so in that scripture, you'll see that it was making reference to the demons. They was basically raising hell, like, hey man, why you dry snitching? Like, what you doing, man? Why you bothering us? We not even messing with you. We over here with her. Why are you messing with us? See, that's what you're looking at. You're looking at these demons and these devils and saying, man, what you calling me out for? I wasn't even doing nothing. No, you are doing something. You are responsible for what you're doing to us. Now, you take it with the fact that you are being revealed. Your existence is being revealed. Our brother JP and his wife, Beyonce, were both accused of being anti-Semitic. She was accused of being anti-Semitic because she did not come out to speak against her husband and lyrics that he put in the song, to where he said that he was referring to how to become rich, how to get rich in America. And he made a reference to Jewish people owning a lot of real estate. And so he was called anti-Semitic for that. There were those who, said, in other words, man, don't say that. But the question is it a lie? No, it's not a lie. It's the truth. You just don't like me saying it. You would rather me say, Mr. Rothschild owned a whole bunch of land. You don't want me to say that Mr. Rothschild and you know, Mr. Hyman and you know, Mrs. Silversmith and you know, Miss Rubenstein. You would rather me just say one name. You don't want me to say, well, they all fit into the category of Jewish business people. That makes me anti-Semitic. Um, and the sound when Clarence is saying it's a little off. You might have to mute your phone before you while you listen.
Well, I'll say that right now the minister is the only person that is the target by the so-called Jews, the synagogue of Satan Jews, the impostor Jews. As we know, years ago, you had brothers like Dr. Leonard Jeffries, who was a target. You had Tony Martin, who was a target. And you had some others. But right now, the minister is the only person that has the gonads to be able to speak truth to power against these folks right now. And it's up to us to be able to echo what Minister Farrakhan is saying. And he's giving us such beautiful explanations from down to Minister told us that what is a Jew. And it talked about in the Bible, I think Paul, who has been circumcised not by the foreskin of the sexual organ, but by the heart. And we are the real people of the fulfillment of Scripture. So the whole thing really is, who is the real Jew? Who is the real Hebrew? Who are the real people of God? And they have been just like Jacob and Jacob stealing the birthright of Esau for so long. And so it's up for us to stay steady and being able to defend Minister Farrakhan in this hour. And it's not just the Jews that are attacking Minister Farrakhan. It's people that believe that Farrakhan is not the anointed and appointed leader of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, and saying that he's the fake one, but he's not. He's the realest one out there. He is the only one that's standing up, defending the name of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad on a massive national, and global level. Nobody has the reach to defend the Honorable Elijah Muhammad and articulate him like Minister Farrakhan does in this hour.
And you know, Brother Clarence, I'm glad you said that, because it's not only those who, you know, who are so much considered to be of a separate faith or whatnot, but we got Black people doing this too. All right. And so this is part of the issue with what's happening now. When it came out that Chelsea Handler, all she did was take a clip from who's Jewish, a Jewish comedian. She took a clip and posted it of the minister who was on Donahue in the 80s, early 90s, and put it on her Instagram page. And then her friends in the industry, in Hollywood, these were Caucasian women. They liked it. They double tapped. Some of them shared it. You know, and it was only because she said, I thought his message was very powerful. So when you have someone who says that, she's saying the message was very powerful. See, it goes back into, as a Black man in America on a plantation, you ain't supposed to have no power other than what I give you, and certainly don't swoon my woman. Don't do that. That is a mistake. That can end your life. That's how we were treated on the plantation. But I love the way Brother Ishmael put it last week, and he touched a little bit on it again today. When Pharaoh's wife was trying to roll with Moses and Aaron. He was like, hey man, I see what you're doing, you know, Pharaoh. He's like, but I'm watching this over here. This looks a lot more promising for me and you. And it wasn't until the very end that Pharaoh decided that, okay, I'll submit to Moses. So what we're taught is that Pharaoh is not one individual, but Pharaoh represents a mindset of group of people. One of those positions being president of the United States, that seat of power. But
you know, Brother Brandon, it makes me think about Gamaliel in the Bible. And I don't know if you remember him. Gamaliel was talking to the Jews, and he was a Jew himself. And he was saying that if we oppose Jesus and he's not the one, then it's one thing. But if we oppose, and paraphrase, if we oppose Jesus and he is who he says he is, we're in trouble. And so they know Minister Farrakhan is not that he's a hater. It's not that he's a racist. This man has the purest, most loving heart that no one has ever seen in these last 30 or 40 years since the departure of Honorable Elijah Muhammad. He has the potential not just to lead black folks, but to lead black people, brown people, yellow people,
That's right.
The Native Americans and the whites. And so they fear this man's influence, because they're going to not only will they lose our people, but they're going to lose their people and other people throughout the world. And Minister Farrakhan's truth is so pure, and his heart is so pure, you can't help but be drawn unto him. It's just like a fly or a creature being drawn to the light of the sun. You can't help be attracted to his light.
That's right.
And they fear that if
okay, seem like brother, I guess the whole broadcast.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Can you hear me now?
It's back, brother.
I said, if people hear Minister Farrakhan, the purity of his message, they're going to lose their followers, and the whole world will be listening to Farrakhan.
Yes, sir.
Can you
now here's what I'm gonna do, brother. I'm gonna read to you exactly what she said, because Chelsea Handler defended herself, and she defended posting that video clip. Now here's what she said. Now this is what I want to bring more attention to. She says, I thought his message was really powerful. I wasn't thinking about the anti-Semitic thing, but I don't want to take the thing, I don't want to take down the thing, because I felt the message was powerful, and a lot of people did. And it was powerful for me the way he spelled it out, that black people don't have a history of killing white people. She says, white people have a history of killing black people for 400 of years. Forget about crime. Over and over again, we kill black people in this country. So everyone needs to remember where the violence came from. It's not from the black people, it's from the white people. Now, after she came back, she made this statement and defended her post. She was not accused of being anti-Semitic after that. She was only accused of being anti-Semitic to attributing that truth to Brother Farrakhan. See, this is what we gotta understand. When the question came up over and over, what did Nick Cannon say? What did he say? What did he say? He said Farrakhan. That's all he needed to say. If you as woke as you like to think, and I'm too, I don't know where this woke community came from. Where did this come from? That to me is another distraction to divide us, right? So if you ask me, we do not own 6, 7, 8 states. We don't own one state in the U.S., right? We are all a part of the United States of America. So really, after all of this mistreatment and our history here, how woke are we? So don't tell me that you woke and, you are going to college to get a degree to learn something that some group of white people somewhere else said that, yes, you are authorized to learn this. You have not been awakened. And if you are awake, you ain't got out the bed yet. It's like, man, stop with this foolishness, right? And so my point is, she stood her ground. She came back with her apology and whatnot, but she stood her ground and she made her point. He didn't lie. See, this is the thing. If an anti-Semite is a truth teller, well, then that list, there only ought to be certain people on that list. If that means that you're telling the truth, then you ought to be on that list. But the reality is that it's simply because she has spoken the truth. This is a white woman, a Jewish white woman who is in agreement, 100% in agreement with it. And she's saying, forget about this thing we call an anti-Semitism. Is it true that white people have a history of killing black people? Black people do not have a history of killing white people. Yes. Part of the reparation process is acknowledging that you did wrong, that it was wrong to enslave us in the first place. And so to even acknowledge that will make some of us who have awakened get out of bed. So the point is, it goes back to Rabbi Tudor's statement that, speaking of the Honorable Louis Farrakhan, he said that he's one of the most honest people in America. And this woman is just bearing witness to it. That's where we need to go and stand on it. Whenever they come, and I'm saying this to all of us, whenever they come with that and they say Farrakhan is this, Farrakhan is that, he's anti-Semitic, he's gay, he's anti-gay, he's whatever. Ask them, is he lying? See, Satan, and as you quoted from scripture, Satan does not want to be revealed. The man of sin does not want to be revealed. He don't want you to know who he is. Because he said, all I did was call you. You came. How did he call you over there to win you with him? He lied on your brother. He told you your brother telling
Yeah,
the truth, and then he lied on your brother, and then you still go with him.
The minister's reach is going beyond the black community. Absolutely. And I know you know, and I know we've been in the nation for most of our life. The minister doesn't even really concentrate so much on being in the mosque now. His concentration is outside of the mosque because that's where the people are. We good in the nation. That's we right. know who the minister is, but the world has to really know who Minister Farrakhan is. And that's what I believe that you're focusing on eventually. We're going to reach out to those brothers and sisters that don't know who Minister Farrakhan is. It's important for us to be studied. Books like The International Jew by Henry Ford, who he was just chastised like the minister was in the early 1900s because he told the truth on the Jews. Books like The Protocols of the Learned Elders of Zion that talks about the plan of the Jews to have world nation back.
Get froze up again, man. You there, Brother Clarence? It is happening again, but it's okay. Let me see if I can. But also, as a subject matter, and we got to be wise enough to know that part of it is the subject matter. So let's be clear and understand it. And I want Sister Elaine, you watching. I do want you to come on because I want us to understand that this is not a Black American issue. Brother Farrakhan is not. He's not this Black American leader. And there's a history over in the UK where our sister's from that people have to understand that he is touching, and it really bears witness to what just Brother Clarence said. He's touching people all over the world. And so it looks like it cut out on us again. But his reach is so much further than the U.S., okay? And so let me see. Also, you all, I'll say this too. Don't be surprised. Don't think that this is not intentional, okay? And I'm far from spooky and believing that, but my bad. But don't think that the interruption is not intentional. It's the subject matter, and that's the way technology works. But until we have our own, this is what happens. And we do have our own coming, by the way, just to give you a heads up. Now, also here, I also want to get into another one of our brothers, our friends, our family, that was accused of the anti-Semitism, which was Sean Diddy Combs, P. Diddy Combs, with his network, because he aired the July 4th broadcast of Brother Farrakhan on July 4th, 2020. And so the Jews claim that Diddy is, part of this whole anti-Semitic community, and it's like, at a certain point, man, we got to be wise. We got to wise up, and you know, like my father used to say, call a spade, and call stupid stupid. Man, if you stupid, if you think I'm gonna go for that, and don't be afraid, man, to talk like that. Trust me. There's just a time to where everybody gets fed up with the foolishness, man. We don't want to hear that. And it's really it's an insult to your intelligence if you even allow them to have this discussion with you, um, and to allow them to label for you who your brother and sister is. Now, if you remember, I'll give you a perfect example in the history of our brother Nat Turner. Oh, he was their hero because he coming out the Bible keeping the slaves until Nat Turner's like, hold on, man, this is not what you having me say and do is not what I'm reading. It wasn't, he didn't become this enemy until he became independent. You have to understand that black independence is an enemy to white supremacy. I've been asked before, how do you fight white supremacy? How do you fight white supremacy? And it's very simple to me, black unity. It's just that simple. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad said that when you are doing things for yourself, and you are independent, free thinking people, you'll have to tie a string around your finger to even remind you that the Caucasian had power and is in existence. You have to really look at that. You can take that all the way down to the elementary school level where you're telling the teacher, so and so keeps bothering me, so and so keeps bothering me. And then finally the teacher says, just ignore them. Just ignore them. When are you going to become mature enough to just ignore them? When are you going to become when are we going to become mature enough to ignore them and ignore this so-called power that we have given them and they have? We got to wise up, you all. We got to wise up. So, um, Brother Clarence, I know we can't get you back on it again. Pardon me. Those who have questions, if you want to jump on, please do. Continue to share. Continue to share. Go on to the YouTube. I'm sorry. Go on the YouTube page. Subscribe to the page because we're going to keep putting more. And get your friends and family to subscribe. I believe I have to get to 1,000 subscriptions before they allow certain activity. Because at a certain point, while I'm doing the Facebook Live or I'm on the YouTube Live, I can stream it right to Facebook and some of the other platforms. And make an announcement. There is a Sonia, come on. There is a platform. Well, I won't say anything else. Let me just say this: that this independence that we're discussing. Look forward to it. There's my big sister.
Hey,
Uh, how you doing, Sonia? Good to see you.
today's a good day. Thank you so much. I'm well. How you doing, Brandon?
Man, I'm wonderful. I'm wonderful. For those who don't know, and I call her my big sister because she really is my big sister. I'm 17 years old, going to college, going away for the first time, and I decide my whole life that I want to march in Grambling State University's world
Yeah,
famous Tiger Marching Band.
yeah.
And when I got there, Sonia was one of the student leadership in that band, and she's not she's not that much older than me, but she just got her old
Not a
spirit.
whole lot.
She just took us in like we were her babies, and because we didn't know what we were doing. We were young, and so she just groomed several of us, and those who were watching later, y'all know I'm not lying. She just groomed us into certain activities, and you know how they say, like, man, they put me on. She put us on. She just really put us on how to be a college student in that band.
Brother Brandon, I
Because you could
appreciate
have been
that.
a college student at Grambling and not in the band. It was different from being a college student in that band.
Yeah,
And
what a
many of us,
challenge it was.
I mean, really, really. So I'm really thankful that you came on, and I just want you, Sonia, to really just express, some of some of the things that's been on your heart lately that you and I have been discussing about what's happening in the world, what you see with your people, what you're looking at with the students that you got to teach. Um,
Yeah.
and the life you're living with your family?
Well, the life that I'm living right now, I'm having a challenging time right now. As you know, I told you last night, I'm working with my mother-in-law who has contracted COVID, but she's asymptomatic. I am doing that. That's part of my wifely duties. A lot of people have just been astounded at the fact that I would bring her home and work with her and try to make sure that this is a better environment for her because she wasn't doing well when they put her in to seclusion. But I'm honored to be able to do that. She's 92 years old, and I'm glad to be able to do that. So I want that first. That's my first lesson to teach to anyone who may be listening, that your wifely duties cover a range of things, not just cooking, cleaning, and rearing children, but sometimes you do have to do those things that you wouldn't normally do. The virus frightened me. I was so deathly afraid of it. But when this arose, I just had to go ahead and do what I needed to do. So that's the first thing. The first thing is understanding that sometimes you have to step outside of yourself to do what's needed and put your own needs and your own fears behind you.
Yeah.
My children that I work with and that I teach, I am in a situation where I do have contact with some children who are reared by um, people who live in the old world, people who want to make America great again. So that's quite a challenge.
Come on.
However, I do uh, stay true to myself and remember that I have a goal and a purpose, and that's to be there for the Black children who are in that community. Also, be the soul sister to the only few other Black teachers and paras that are there. So that's our second thing. Thirdly, concerning our Black Lives Matter movement and making sure that we do the things that are going to be supportive to one another. Make sure, I want everybody to just make sure that we're not bashing other people and other groups. We want to speak about our purpose and what it is that we want to do and what it is we're trying to accomplish. We don't want to bash people. That's not part of what we're supposed to be doing. So anything that's positive, raising money, taking snacks, food to protesters, uh, being there to support the younger generation. I'll be 50 tomorrow, so I'm not
Hey,
going out. And, yes, I'm
happy
not going out
birthday.
and walking with them, but I'm sending my money and I'm sending my support. So I'm going to ask the rest of us who are able to do that, if you have some young people, like my son is 20 and I have a son who's 25. The 20-year-old is more so active with the movement, and we want to make sure that they serve with a purpose and not have a purpose of bashing or downplaying or down talking other people, but only to be focused on what it is that we're doing. And I guess my last and final point would be that I want to thank you for what you're doing.
Oh, thank you.
I've gotta say thank you. I want you to know, of course, I'm not a member of the nation, but I follow and I listen and I believe in basically just about every single thing and every fact that you bring up, and I want to be sure to be accountable for self. Try to do some of that gaining wealth. We want to make sure that we do that. We need to make sure that we are trying to gain wealth for ourselves, because no one's going to give us anything. We're not going to be given anything. So we have to have our plan and we have to stick with our plan. And that's just what I intend to do.
Yes. Well, I thank you so much. And I'll tell you what Brother Farrakhan has taught us throughout the years. He said every black person on earth is in the Nation of Islam. Some of us just aren't registered members. So you
Thank
home,
you.
you know, you where you
Thank you.
belong, you with your family, and your
Thank
family's
you.
with you. I put a link up for the Nature's V, which is Brother Farrakhan said on that July 4th lecture. He said he said, don't take their vaccine, but there are 14 different therapies that we can use. One of them you can find on the naturesv.com. So I did put that link in the comment section. You all
Okay.
go on there, and these are their testimonies, right? Some of these people I know who have taken these supplements, and they have I mean, just almost completely reverted out of that COVID-19 coronavirus pandemic, their health and recovered. And so there is a link on there. As a matter of fact, I talked to one of the brothers there. I'll be ordering some myself as well. And as you know, because I know I did tell you, my wife and I, we were asymptomatic as well. And we quarantined for 14 days. But we
Yes.
did include our fasting and we made sure that we sanitized very well. And so what I'll do is I'll connect the two of you as well because she put together a sanitation routine for us. And that
Okay.
was, I mean, it's really what got us through, you know, because sometimes you know, I don't have the patience for certain things that she got the patience for. And sometimes I have the understanding of some things that she didn't have to understand. And then we just put it together. And
I
so right
love
now
it.
to this day, we don't have any of the symptoms or anything in the family, but we're still using that same method of sanitizing when we come indoors. So it worked.
Yes.
I promise you, and it worked
Thank
because
you.
we
Thank
still
you.
do it.
Thank you.
Right. So
Thank
I'll make
you.
sure that I put you two together. And thank you. I love you. And I
I love
know
you as well, Brother Brandon.
homecoming
Thank
is
you for bringing
canceled.
me on.
Oh, absolutely. Thank you for coming. Homecoming is canceled, but you know, anytime we see each other, it's homecoming. All right. All
Love you
right.
so much.
Love you too. Take care.
Will do.
All right. Peace. Again, man, this is really what this is about. And I want us to understand that, we are one family, and this is just what we do. So we are not, uh, this is not something that is exclusive. So all of you all who are watching, you certainly can send your requests, and I would trying to see if I can continue. Certainly you too, brother James, um, because and the reason, like I said, I've been seeing your comments, and I know you've been keeping up with it. But brother, you certainly are welcome. Carl would love to have you come on and just kind of give your feedback from the last four, how you felt about it, what you think. And it won't be long because we'll be signing off because Chef Brandon got to eat. All right. I'm breaking my fast tonight, y'all. And I feel really good about it. Again, go on the Nature's V website. It is in the comments section. Click that link and go on there. Also, I want to go back. Built Different Fitness. Built Different Fitness. One of our sponsors. Going down this Facebook page as well. You might not be as skinny as you want to be. You might not be as buff as you want to be. You might not be shaped, the way that you want to be. But this workout gear, you just built differently. And so it's Built Different Fitness. So go on there and order some of our products and get your workout on. We still quarantining, y'all. Now, that's the other thing. I want to say this too and put this out there. I understand that there are governments, there are governors, I'm sorry. There are governors, there are mayors, there are schools, principals, superintendents. They're saying, yes, it is safe to come back. We're doing everything we can to make it safe to come back. This is what I want to say. I want to remind us what Brother Farrakhan said. Brother Farrakhan said that you're not in control of this. He told President Trump and all of those with him, you're not in control of this pandemic. You're not in control of COVID-19. Um, you're not in control of the coronavirus. He said God is. So I'm saying to all of us who think that you say, well, I can't wait for this, I can't wait for that. I'm not waiting for it to get back to norm. We're in the new norm. The new norm is what you make out of it. So use your creative energy, your creative spirit, your creative gift and talent, and create a life for yourself that does not include this world that is going out. And so for all of those who are saying, we're going back to school, we're doing this, I don't submit to that. And I say because they don't control it. So you don't have the precautions necessary for me. So the precaution that I can take is taking the advice of Brother Farrakhan, who is stay indoors, wash your hands, go out if you must. If you must go out, wear a mask, hand sanitizer, your gloves, all of the proper PPE, your personal protection equipment. Which also, please do me a favor, grab my mask, please. I want to make sure that everybody knows how to get the mask as well. I do have the mask available. And I don't make a profit off of this. And the reason I do that is because I don't care to make a profit. I'm not in this for the business of making money. I'm putting this up for you all right now. Just bear with me while I put this comment in really quick. But I do have the N95 mask available. I have the N95 mask available. You can go to the Cash App. These are the masks. My family and I, every time we go out, this is what we put on. And people laugh at us. They say, man, you always got the mask on. Yeah, you're right. You know, we already done caught it. We ain't trying to catch it again. But we wear our N95 masks, okay? So we do have them available. You can go on Cash App. You can inbox it. You can comment. But they come in a pack. There are a pack of 5 of these that come in, and it's $25. That includes your shipping. So we mail them to you and ship them to you as well. I don't make any money off of this. And the people I'm getting them from are the one making the money. I don't care to make any money off of it. What I do care about is that you live and I live and my family lives, my friends, my family. That is more important to me. So order your mask, all right? When you send it, send the mailing address, the shipping address you want it to go to. That's anywhere in the United States. If it's going international, let me know, and I'll try to look and see if I can find out how much it costs to get it to you internationally. But as of right now, this is what we're doing. Thank you all again for watching. We will put this up on the YouTube page, and we will schedule more of our interviews and other topics of discussion. We will include the fasting, the how to eat to live, the cook to live. All of that will be there. I love you all. I appreciate you all for the support. It's nothing like getting support from your family and your friends and those who care about your well-being. It's nothing like it. So please don't stop. Please spread the word. Share it, invite others, continue on. Built Different Fitness. Go on there to store.finalcall.com. So Sonia put that link up as well. Scroll up, you'll see that in the comments section. Several of the books that we have that we want you to get. The How to Eat to Live, book 1 and 2 by the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. The Message to the Black Man in America. We want you to get these as well. The Secret Relationship Between Blacks and Jews. There are 3 volumes of those. Go on there and get those. Thank you all again, and just keep hitting your brother up. May Almighty God, Allah, Yahweh, Jah, Jehovah continue to bless you and put your protective shield around you and your family and keep you all out of harm's way. Ameen. I love you. Peace.